I'm Leanne Jones and a warm welcome to The Ladder, a show which aims to give you key business insights, current corporate trends and professional tips and tools to stand out in the workplace. Coming up on tonight's show, we discuss the growing need for soft skills among Aussie employees and why it's so crucial for business growth in the future. Plus, we speak with Joydeep Hall from People and Culture Strategies about reinforcing culture in a climate of low trust. But first, business growth in Australia is at risk of being halted unless there's some serious development of soft skills among employees. Well, that's according to Ben Foote, CEO of the Australian Institute of Management. 63% of all jobs are expected to be soft skills intensive by 2030, which means all employees at every level will need to learn complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity and people management, which are all essential to navigating the constantly changing business world. Research shows that only 20% of employees say their employer is providing them with the necessary soft skills that they'll need in the future. I spoke earlier with Ben Foote and I started by asking exactly what soft skills are.
Let's start with hard skills. Hard skills are the skills someone uses to perform a technical job, so it enables someone to perform a task. Soft skills are a combination of people skills, leadership skills, communication skills. They are skills around social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and essentially soft skills help someone navigate a situation and work with other people to achieve a certain goal. So it's these soft skills which are becoming critical as the economy moves quicker and quicker and business moves quicker and quicker to navigate very, very complex situations.
So what do the numbers look like as we stand? How much will soft skills dominate the growth that we see across businesses in Australia?
So the World Economic Forum has suggested that 63% of all jobs by 2030 will be intensive in soft skills. Now let's have a look at Australia. Right now, employees, 70% of employees say that they have not got the right amount of soft skills training to be effective in their roles. So we've got businesses which are not being effective as they can be because of the shortage of soft skill training.
So to pick up on your point there then about the shortage, what's been the impetus for this anticipated shortfall in soft skills? Is it a failure more so by employers to train employees properly, or do you think it's caused by changing demands in differing professions?
It's interesting because we haven't fallen off in terms of our soft skills development, but the world has actually changed and it is changing faster and faster, and that is because of technology. There's two real reasons why soft skills are becoming increasingly important to be highly effective as a business and highly effective as an individual. The first one is how technology has radically changed communication. And so communication in business used to be fairly straightforward. It was very linear. Basically, you communicated upwards and sometimes communicated down in an organisation. Technology has completely changed how we communicate and sped that up. So now communication in an organisation is complex. Everyone in a business needs to be able to communicate effectively with everybody else for that business to be operating extremely well. Those communication skills and those leadership skills and social skills and people skills, they're all soft skills. So that's the first piece, is communication has radically changed. The second one is fascinating because the second one is that technical skills, when we go back to the definition of hard skills, which are really technical skills, are being overtaken by computers. We're seeing a massive shift in every single industry in terms of computers taking over technical skills. You go to a shopping centre and the car park attendant is no longer there. Supermarkets are completely changing with with self-serve checkouts. You come through immigration. They're all technical skills which are being changed, and computers are taking over those skills. And so it is the soft skills which are becoming the really critical skills in the economy, for the economy to work, for businesses to work, and for individuals to be their best.
So when you consider those two factors that you point out, being technology and computers, are there certain professions that will be hit harder than others?
It is affecting every industry. Let's take an example of the transport industry, or transport and logistics. The technical skill of driving a car or a truck or operating a heavy machinery, say in a mine site, that is being crunched at the moment by computers. It's quite a hard skill to drive a car, but even that skill is being crunched. And so when we look forward, say 5 years or maybe 10, we will see a significant change in the labour market in terms of the need for taxi drivers, Uber drivers, truck drivers. We're already seeing big changes at mine sites across Australia with machines operating heavy machinery for the first time. And so you've got a massive change. However, the need for people to get from A to B is still going to be there. And businesses are still going to be competing for the need to get people from A to B. The businesses which succeed will be the businesses with brilliant teams, with great communication, with awesome leaders who really empower their people and take the best ideas and implement them effectively. And therefore, those businesses which succeed will be businesses with brilliant soft skills.
So with those businesses that will succeed, and in order to close the gap, I suppose, between that shortfall in soft skills, what is the expectation as to how much it's likely to cost Australian businesses in terms of that upskilling?
We mentioned that 70% of people are saying they need more help with their soft skills. We also recognise that 40% of what you do within your job you have learnt in the last 12 months. And you add those two things together, and there is a huge weight on Australian businesses to upskill people, to prepare them and their own businesses for the future. The education market has partially let business down because it has been very good at teaching technical skills, but now, with the rate of change, it is the soft skills which people need a significant help in. Luckily, the education market is coming up with some really, really interesting things to help business. A couple of examples are LinkedIn's learning platform. LinkedIn provide a subscription to customers, and all of a business's employees can go onto a range of online material and learn lots of things at a pretty reasonable cost. So that is a brilliant solution. At AIM, we've really copied LinkedIn in some respect, and we have done a subscription for businesses, but in face-to-face learning across the country. So again, one monthly fee means every person in an organisation can learn all of these essential skills. So although there is a weight on business, there are solutions out there which businesses can plug into to create highly engaged people who feel much more capable of doing their jobs in a fast-changing environment and are much less likely to leave to go elsewhere.
And I'm sure the long-term benefit for those companies of investing now is much greater than the actual cost that they will be implementing in the immediate term.
Yeah. Unfortunately for business, it isn't an option to do nothing because that will cost them more. You look at the statistics around why people leave a job, and 25% of people leave because they don't have access to professional training and development and aren't getting the right support in terms of their career path and preparing themselves for the future. The cost of replacing staff is between 50 and 250% of that person's salary. The cost of a disengaged member of staff, according to Gartner, is around about a third of their annual salary. And so there's no real option to say, we're not going to deal with this problem because the cost is going to be significant in trying to create a brilliant team and trying to fill gaps within an organisation. So businesses need to act to prepare their workforces for the future, but again, there's some great solutions out there which they can use.
So we're talking about things from a business perspective, Ben.
Yeah.
What about from a government perspective? Do you think that government can provide incentives or measures for the fostering of these soft skills?
I think they absolutely can. I look at, it's a global economy, and Australia is a business, if you like, within the global economy. And when you look at the statistics around the amount of people, 70% of people who say they need more help with their soft skills so they can be effective, this is not only a specific industry problem. This is the business of Australia, which has a significant need to upskill people, to empower them so they can be better, they can do their job more effectively. And so I think it is certainly a government problem. I think government needs to help all business, especially small business, in the soft skills space, if we want to be highly competitive in the future.
Yeah, so crucial for the economic prosperity, as you say, for broader growth here in Australia. What about universities? Do you think they can help address the problem?
Yeah, absolutely they can. And universities in the past and present do a great job at preparing people with technical skills. So they produce engineers and lawyers and marketers and all of these different people with brilliant skills. But universities, and we take this incredibly seriously at AIM in terms of our MBA program, we ensure that every graduate has excellent communication skills, has excellent social skills, people skills, understand the skills of leadership. How do you lead a team effectively? What does leading with mindfulness mean? What does leading with emotional intelligence mean? Again, so that people can navigate highly complex environments and ultimately work with other people to achieve the goals of business. One recent statistic said 25% of businesses say they cannot find graduates with the sufficient amount of soft skills to meet the needs of their organisations. And so graduates who not only learn technical skills, but also learn all of these important soft skills are going to put themselves right at the front of the queue to help the economy move forward.
Ben, just finally, I mean, when we broaden it out to a global perspective and we look at the global playing field, where does Australia sit versus its global peers? Are we lacking? I mean, is the situation worse here in Australia?
We haven't got data to suggest it is worse in Australia, but this is happening quickly. We recognise in Australia that there is a gulf between the demand for soft skills and the supply of soft skills. If we do not act as a business community quickly and at a government level quickly, we will fall behind because that gulf will be significant. And so acting now is very, very important to prepare people for the future of the labour market and also to prepare business, and so Australia can be very well positioned moving forward.
Fantastic. Ben Foote, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Cheers.